A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another live session of Get It Talk. My name is Shilpi. I'm the Relationship Manager with the Global Education and Training Institute. Well, the pandemics have come back to the same situation as we were last year in March. Although the schools and educational institutions had opened up somewhere in July and August, but then that was not for a very long time. So, keeping that in mind, again, there are the same kind of challenges, but have there been any improvements in there, or the challenges remain the same? That is what she's going to talk about. Our guest, Dr. CJ Sophia, she is an assistant professor at the Hindustan College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore. So, she's going to talk about the challenges of online teaching during this pandemic.
Yeah, thank you, Shilpi, and a very good evening to everyone present here. I'm so happy to be a part of Global Education and Training Institute Lucknow and to talk about the challenges in this pandemic because especially we know we are under lockdown. Like I think the whole India is under lockdown. We have certain everywhere, no, there are all the schools and education, everything is closed down, and we are forced to sit at home and teach online. So, with this education worldwide, which is being thrown into dismay by this coronavirus, more and more educators are being forced to teach their students from home. So, in a true teacher sense, I should tell you that it's high time that we have to throw our lesson plan out of the window and we have to make the best in this bad situation. So learning from home, I can tell you, like when we are seeing as a student's perspective, no, we feel like it's a bit a lonely task or we are isolated because every time, no, as a teacher or a student, we are always having a bus in this classroom setting and the company of our peers makes us so happy, but now no, it is like it's difficult for some students to feel a very strong sense of isolation, and their desire to learn also is slowing down. So there are so many challenges in the part of the students and the teachers. So I'm going to discuss certain points, maybe some may agree with me or some may disagree, but any point of time I just want you to think about these points, whether it is true or whether you feel anything like that. So the online education. So what is online education? It's actually a form of a computer assisted learning which uses some internet facility to facilitate the student and teacher interaction and the delivery of classroom materials. So normally if you're seeing our situation, like as a teacher, I can tell you, like when I'm taking a class, there are so many challenges which I face. And the first and foremost is the internet facility. I don't think everywhere in India, it's in the urban and the rural, we have a very good internet connection, and because of this internet connection we are facing a lot of problems, and that problem is a basic of the, I can tell you, it's a root cause of like every challenge which we are facing. And as our one of the education expert, no, I loved his words. Eliot Macy has said that we need to bring learning to people instead of people to learning. It's high time that we are going to realize that this pandemic should bring us to ponder over these words, that we are not supposed to force anyone to go to a school or a college and learn things. It is actually learning which should be attracted, and this online is doing that. Because there was a time before this pandemic also, we had online education. I can tell you, there were MOOC platforms, there were NPTEL, which is giving you lots of online resources. And with this online resources, we learned a lot of things, but only the people who are interested are going to it, and that is what we want. And this pandemic has taught us that is a teacher in the 45 minutes time can't do anything. Okay, and it is only the student who should go to it, who should love to learn things. Okay, so here like when I'm speaking about the benefits of online education, the first thing I want to point out is the increased flexibility of time. We have the freedom to juggle. That is, I can tell you, every student, no, they can juggle their career and the school. it is like in a traditional setup, like in a school setup, it is highly like we are taken back, because when you are going to school, you can't go for a like work on the first period, second period, you can't go and sit in the class. It is not possible. But now you have your own technology, your Android phone in your hand, where you can record things, you can hear at your own time. Or even you have the like many schools and colleges, what they are doing is that they are giving you the recorded videos of that particular class. I think this live also is recorded, but even when you're not able to do it, listen to it in at this particular time, you can change your own timing and you can listen to it. And this online education, I can say you, the college, like apart from your college fees and your school fees, what you do is that you have your transport facilities, food, travel, and you can say many people stay in the hostel, so everything, the cost is highly reduced. And the next thing is information sharing. I can tell you, like I can take an example. Suppose there are two students who listen to the same class, and both of them have different perspectives of looking over to a thing, and it changes over time. So information is shared, not from this own perspective. I again mention a point called as perspective. The global perspective change. Online education gives us a platform such as that. Like for example, me sitting in Tamil Nadu and addressing to some people in Lucknow with a, it's a perspective. The perspective changes. Like you can understand the situation which is happening in Tamil Nadu. Like again, like in our colleges, we invite speakers from the international platform, and that is the greatest opportunity which the online education is giving us. Because normally in a classroom setup, I cannot invite an international speaker. Like the time, the amount which I'm going to spend for that, it's a huge amount which I want to spend. Most of the organization doesn't prefer that. So that is also one of our greatest advantage of online education. Online resources, there are so many online resources which are available here in this like pandemic. And this pandemic has brought us that, can tell you, all the libraries, they are digitalized, all the books were given free, all you can download all PDFs free of cost. So everything happened during the pandemic. Diverse and enriching experiences each and every one is having. And then speak about the digital and information literacy, I can tell you, in the beginning of the pandemic, many students had problems using laptops or mobile phones, but now everyone are so convenient using them, and we are happy. I think after the pandemic, when the school opens, everyone are going to send your assignments digitalized. Okay. And the next topic is documentation. Speaking about documentation, I would tell you, everything, like from the beginning, everything is like has we had your notebooks, pen and paper. You used to write each and everything which you getting it online, but now it has changed. No? Everything is computerized. Like from date wise, you can you can make it collected together, and even after years you can use it. Okay, that's something the pandemic has given us. So these are the benefits which we get in the online education. Now, speaking about online teaching, I'm here again mentioning only two areas. That's one is students and the organization. Speaking about the students, as I said, they can work at their own speed. It is not necessary that every student should sit at sharp at particular time and start studying. It is not necessary. They can do anything. Not every teacher, they cannot assure that their students are listening to their classes. They are doing some other work. Maybe they're using their headphones on and they're listening to your class, doing something else. Maybe sometimes there are people who are sleeping. And I have experiences where my students will be sleeping. When I suddenly call out their name, only they'll be arising from their sleep. So even that happens in a classroom situation. The next one is less stress. Um, like students, when they're coming to a class, and they have to submit an assignment, or maybe their teacher is not so friendly, so all these problems a student may have. But now it is not like that. They have very less stress. That reason is that when they are having a gadget online, it is not necessary that everyone should attend to a teacher. Like if he is not liking interested in a class, he can skip the class. It is not necessary that he have compulsorily attend the class. Okay, so all these things, because even our government is so flexible that they are giving attendance. It is not, attendance is not mandatory. I can tell you many institutions have that particular sort of thing which is carried out in this pandemic. Now, speaking about the organization, the staff and the student ratio at the beginning before the pandemic was different, because we had 20:1 ratio, but now it is not like that. If there are four divisions, if like for example, I'm speaking about 10th standard, there are 10A, 10B, 10C. Now it is not like that. For each 10A there was an English teacher, 10B there was a different teacher, 10C there was a different teacher. About now the scenario is not the same. Now one staff is handling classes for all the three combined, because the online allows more than 250 participants can be in one meeting. So now the organization also, the staff reduce the staff ratio, and again they are very happy because they're giving less wages. I can tell you many parts of Tamil Nadu there was a situation where staff were given only half the wages, even if they worked online. So these are the benefits both of students and the organization. I do again mention my point of view. I can stress that. Now, when we are speaking about the problems which the students had, like I want to begin by saying that the students so far, they are very happy with the traditional setup. Like I can tell you the traditional setup of a classroom, where a teacher is going to come, take a chalk piece and jot on points and explain in a way that both the slow learners and the advanced learners are happy with the teaching. But now the situation is not that. When a person is going to take class, they are more focused on completing the portion, and they are not keen enough to give importance to the slow learners and advanced learners. And there are, I can tell you, yeah, classes, the hours which a staff gets is very low. Like maybe before the pandemic, they go 6 hours per week, and now it is 3 hours per week. So in this 3 hours, the maximum what a teacher can, only she would do, and her main aim would be completing the portion. And now again, it is like it's coming a little back, and again the motive also changes. So that's some main problem of a student. If he or she is very happy in a traditional method, he or she will not be attracted to an online teaching. And many people wanted a face-to-face attention. Now when we asking all the students to switch off your mute your mics and switch off your camera, what happens? We are not going to look a person by we are not going to give a face-to-face attention to anyone. So it's like it's a virtual method. And again, there are students who fail to catch up with your virtual classmates, because when I'm posting an assignment, they will immediately do it. Or when I say you something, unmute, there are so many who unmute immediately. There are some people who takes time because they are not very comfortable with the gadgets. Okay, so that the main reason is because of the lack of computer literacy. And there are some people who always want an attention of help with the digital partners, so they'll have someone next to them that they are to switch on the unmute the mic, or switch on the video, or again to post an assignment, or again to convert a document to a PDF document and post it in the classroom. So everything they need help. So there are students. So these are some of the basic problems of a student. Now, speaking about the problem of a staff, I can tell you, not every faculty are very happy using the online technology, because at the beginning, I can point out an example that when the pandemic started and we started to take online classes, the mathematics department was little unhappy. The reason is because they cannot speak anything through online. Now I can't make you understand by teaching you some speaking. Okay, so I want to use some technology. And what happens, they were to give certain formulas or everything, they needed help of some other software which they are not happy with. They want some training in that. So because of these, like making the right use of technology was not at the prompt time, the staff had certain problem, which again I can tell you they coped up after 1 or 2 months of training. So and there are certain staff, I can take an example of nearly a retired teacher, or a teacher of 50 or 50 years and less. They are not happy using a computer. There are, I can again recollect certain staff asking me, where is the letter A, where is the letter P? So we bully them, and because of this bullying, they don't come out, and they don't bring out their fears out. So even these problems happened before a staff. And the next one, or I can tell you the main important problem which every staff faced, is the parent involvement. So when a girl, if it is a school scenario, it is like whether it is a girl or a boy, the parents involvement is there. When I'm speaking about a college, if it is a girl student, and the parent want to sit next to them and listen what she's doing, what is the act she's doing in her gadget. So the parent involvement was there. So the teacher, now the aim of a teacher is not to teach the student, but she have to make the parent and the student, both of them, happy. So this is the greatest task which a staff faced, because there were many complaints. The next day the parent would call and tell, I just listened to your lecture and I didn't agree with these points. Or a parent telling that I want my student to speak English, so I want you to speak only English in my class. So the problem is that everyone, whether it is an English subject or the other, any other subject, the staff uses both the language, the regional language also, so that only the student can they take it like they understand the concept well. But what happens when the parents involvement is there, or when the teachers understanding that some parent is there in the class, then he or she will again will want to satisfy the parent. So that satisfaction is also a problem, because that doesn't happen in a traditional setup. Now again, the next problem is fail to catch up with the virtual staff, because again now there is a competition between a staff, like to bring out the best what she can do, because they do amazing PPTs, or they do e-content, develop a wonderful e-content. And the competition between the staff is also a problem, a challenge in this particular scenario with a staff. Okay, the next challenge is that slow learners are not coping up. Okay, so in a traditional setup, a staff will have, again the second point is strength. That is, a staff will be monitoring 30 students or a maximum of 60 students in a class. So in the 60 students, all the 60 students names are in her fingertip, and she know who are slow learners and who are advanced learners. So when she handles a class, she handles in a way that the slow learners and the advanced learners are happy. So she's satisfying the needs of both of them. But now what happens? Now I can tell you the online teaching is for the advanced learners, because you are not making them happy enough. Like for example, I'm not happy taking a poetry in an online mode, because I cannot give my own explanation. I want a classroom setup where I want to show up things which are there nearby them. But now the problem is that they are not able to come up with the staff ideologies. So even it takes time. So a staff has only 45 minutes, and in this 45 minutes, the first 10 minutes goes on by permitting them inside the classroom, or waiting for all the students to log in. And so in this, the first 10 minutes goes on, and the next 10 minutes is to bring them to her own ideas. And then the classroom setup, again, the time is reduced. She gets only nearly 20 minutes or hardly 10 minutes to take up a topic. So this is a major challenge which a staff face. The next one, as I mentioned, now No organization allows a staff for a 30 students or a 50 students. Now it is like one staff for nearly 200 or 300 students. So what she does is she just comes and delivers her thoughts, and she's not happy enough to reciprocate what they learn from that particular class. And even if that happens, only few students will pop up with their doubts or their ideas. Not everyone is volunteering. And but in a traditional setup, it is not like that. It is like, when I'm going to handle a class, I handle a topic, and then I ask the ideas to come out. When the ideas come out, what happens? I'll just tell, like, I'll help them with certain points. Sometimes if I come to know one person is sleeping in my class, even that happens, no? Like, one person sleeps and I immediately wake him up. I give them a small task. I ask him to read 2 lines, and then even he or she comes to my own ideologies. But that doesn't, now that's the greatest challenge, I can tell you. We doesn't know who are sleeping. We doesn't know what is happening behind. Okay, so, and the next point which I want to stress is less internship and volunteering part of education. I think we are 1 year has already gone. I don't know how many students are happy enough to work for the society. In this pandemic, I don't think any student is happy enough to volunteer to a old age home, to help them, or to serve in the National Service Society, or be a part of the NCC. I don't know how many will be happy to be a part of them. So this pandemic, the internship, I think in college setup, everyone goes for an internship. They learn new things. Now there is a very less chances for an internship or a voluntary part in the education and online setup. I can just tell them to do something. This is like nearby, like I can ask them to plant a sapling in their house, or I can ask them to help their parents. Apart from that, I can't give them any inputs. Okay, so that's again a difficult part. Now, when I'm speaking about the next point, that's a most important challenge which I face as a faculty. The thing is that there are many students coming from different strata of society. They have different family backgrounds. Like, when I'm going to handle a class, maybe he or she is not happy in that house. They may have some problems. Like, I can tell you, in rural parts of Tamil Nadu, even now, no, the husband doesn't take care of the wife and the children are not happy with the father. Every day there'll be some quarrels, there'll be some fights. And in that scenario, if I'm asking a student to listen to a class, to give me the feedback, or to answer to my question, it's quite difficult, because I cannot force the student, and I don't know what is the thing which happens behind my back. I don't know what is the situation which he or she is having. Maybe I can again tell you, in Tamil Nadu, not everyone has a gadget in her hand. Even a college student, there are many students who doesn't have a mobile phone. So this is actually a forced scenario where I'm forcing them to buy a mobile phone for an online class, where there was a time when I asked all the students to keep your mobile phone switched off in the classroom. Now it is like it's a different scenario. So this is again a major challenge. Now the drawback. Students may exhibit troubled behavior. The reason of this troubled behavior is, I tell you, the first point is, I don't know what is the family situation of that person. Maybe he or she is a single parent. They cannot afford a mobile phone. Even if they afford a mobile phone, I can't ask them to have a good internet connectivity with a good bandwidth. So even that's a major problem. So all these things will make the student like a little upset psychologically, and that student will show some troubled behavior. Like, I can tell you an example. I have a student, and when she's having a very bad time in her house, and many a time if I'm asking her to submit her assignment, she doesn't does that. She's asking me like, ma'am, I'll write and then just post you, because she can't afford using a mobile phone. So that's a major problem with her, and she's showing some trouble behavior. So every time when I'm looking at her, or the other staffs are looking at her, they look in a different angle. But only when we study about that particular character, we come to know the problems which she is having. So this is something one of the thing which the pandemic has brought up, the students, there are, again I can tell you, the government, after learning all these things, no, the government is having students helpline, and they are given free counseling. So that is a very essential thing in this pandemic. Now, next point which I want to talk about is adapting to their needs, understanding their problems, providing with them with the proper guidance can be difficult, and it's I can tell you it's very time consuming task in this time, because I can stress by saying that I get only 1 or 2 hours per week, and in that particular hour, will I see to complete my portion, or will I take time to understand that particular student, to talk about them? But again, there are so many institutions where there are some 1 hour is particularly allocated for a staff to handle 15 students, and they talk to the students, they understand their problems, etc, etc. But when this was carried out, the problem happened is that in this 15 student, nearly 5 or 6 only will be attending that class. Okay, so it is actually a counseling class, it's a tutor ward time, but in the ward time was not effective, because only 5 or 6 could attend the class, so the other 7 or 8, it's missing. Okay, so the reason is teachers don't get sufficient time. That's something, that's a reality, because if it is a traditional classroom setup, what happens is that there are 6 hours or 7 hours per day, and you get ample of time. There are so many free hours. You can there is again a hour which is allocated only to reading, then a hour which is allotted to games, and the students are happy. And in that particular time, you can give an assignment, you can make them to read, you can make them to write. But now reading has gone back. Okay, reading happens only when the examination point of view, and even there, the document which I'm going to handle in this particular class is given to a student. So the student, what he does is he just takes a printout, or he writes down in his notebook, and he reads and writes that. So that's it. Reading doesn't happen. So when I'm handling a story, I can't read every line by line and explain the points. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to chunk it down, okay, to like little bits. So that's something which as a teacher I'm doing. So that's the greatest drawback which I am facing. I think many teachers face. Okay, the next one, why teachers matter. Okay, so this pandemic, I can tell you, we have ample number of online resources, and online, like an organization can just play a video of some lectures, and they can while away the time, or even there are better videos than the teachers. But the thing is that teachers are always teachers, because they have an inspirational power, and they can transcend the classroom. And even now, what the teacher has done is that, whether it is a traditional classroom setup or an online platform, they have changed them into a classroom setup. So at the beginning, how we started with just bringing the points, we just jotting down the points to the students, giving a summary of any topic. This is what a teacher did. But now it is not like that. The teachers found interesting methods to bring the students' attention. So it is always in the hands of a teacher, and we teachers can do magics with our students. Okay, so it is not necessarily like we face so many problems with 200 students in our class, but now even with that 200s, we know how to manage, we know how to give a small quiz. We learned so many platforms, online platforms, and we learned how to give immediate quiz, or like a feedback, like getting a feedback. We came to know how we can take attendance out of it. So all these things we understood, we took it very beautifully, and that's everything happens because of a teacher. So stating this point, I wind the session. Thank you all. Any questions or feedbacks are welcome.
All this that you were talking about, Sophia. mostly was with the children who are in the college or maybe in higher grades. Yeah. What
Yes.
about those who are preschoolers? I mean, pre-primary, primary. So for them,
Uh,
online teaching, I do not. I mean, experience says that, and
yes.
also seen from last 1 year. I don't think any substantial teaching has been able to take place with these primary children, and this is what I feel is not giving a very strong
Yes,
unless
yes.
and until these children are with the teachers in the classroom. So, what do you think about this? Could you reflect upon this?
Yes. Yes, exactly. Like, I think we are blessed to have a very good foundation of learning because the present generation, especially as you mentioned, the preschools, no, they are like, however effectively we try to teach, we are not able to reach out to all the students. That the reason is because I can tell you, like, if it is reduced, maybe like 10 in one class, we can do something, but even that, it is only a point in a traditional classroom setup. We can't do much. And especially teaching a language is quite impossible in an online setup because like we have a teacher who used to catch hold of our hands and make us to write. So that was happening in a classroom. But that is quite impossible. We always want a guidance of a parent, and the parent would expect much more than what we are trying to give them. So that's again a greatest challenge.
As a professor in the college, don't you think even in the seniors college level also, examinations are not happening the way they should be happening? Because when we are giving the exams in the class, in the classroom, we are theoretically writing long paragraphs, we are giving the answers properly, but now examinations in the college are only for namesake. um,
Yes, I agree it. So when speaking about the examination point of view, I want to just tell the method which they are using in here in Tamil Nadu. So what here we are doing is that we are either giving it them as a quiz, like it's either 150 questions which should be written in 175 minutes, and those questions, what happens is that not everyone are doing it in the right way. They use a different gadget and they copy the answers, or even if we are giving a theory, the students they pretend to write before us because their screen is on, so they pretend to write before us, whether they already have written a script and kept it the copy ready. So they post a different copy, they write a different copy, so everything differs. See, the pandemic education is quite strange, and it's only for it's a bit easier, I can tell you. You can easily get a degree.
yes, yes, I have done some courses from Harvard during my lockdown.
Okay, that's
No.
quite impossible.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it is both advantages and disadvantages. Advantages in what sense? People like us who are working and who at some point of time wanted to study in in Harvard, and due to certain reasons we could not do it, right? Maybe we were not clearing the scholarships or whatever the reasons. So now in we have that thing that we cannot fulfill our dreams. So Harvard opening up its door for
Yeah,
online degrees, and
online teaching.
Oxford, and yeah, universities like Cambridge, and not just diplomas. It's like degrees, proper degrees
Degrees.
they are
Yes,
giving
yes.
you. Yeah, if you want to pursue, and there are proper classes. They are proper. Let me tell you, even if my audience want to know about them, there are proper classes. There are proper um, courses and lectures which are there. You can, and what the certificates you receive is not just for namesake. They are valid. They are valid
Yeah, they
certificates.
are. Yes, but the thing is that I think only 1% will effectively sit before it, learn, and then write. There are
Yes,
99% who wants only the degree, only the certificate in their hand. Okay, but
Yeah,
it
but
was
in
not.
these there are platforms who give you certificates as soon as you complete the course,
Yes,
but not
yes,
these reputed universities. They
yes,
they
yes,
make you give an examination. You have
yes,
to give
yes,
a
yes.
exam and then you get out. So thank you so much, and it was really a very nice speech. And you did not make it monotonous by telling us that how COVID has actually been so sadistic in our lives. But
Yes,
along with the challenges, you also, yes, and what the best part was, nobody had, so many people have talked about the challenges of these pandemics. Nobody had talked about these facts, like children going for social work that we have in our schools, visiting the old people's home, or going for NCC or going for scouts. I also started thinking, oh yes, this did not ever cross my mind. What about sports? What about
of
these kind of
course.
activities? Really, really, we need to to come back to our normal pace of life, because the children will not be growing up properly if this is missing from their lives.
Yes, yes.
So thank you once again, Sophia,
Yes.
and
Yeah,
let's see in future if we have something interesting coming up for you once again.
yeah, sure, sure,
Have
sure.
a lovely
Thank
evening.
you so much. Thank you, Global Education and Training Institute, for giving me this opportunity to talk with you all. Thank you so much.